Hey everybody. Happy Friday. Today's, I've lost track of days. I think it's Friday. It sure feels like a Friday. And there's a full slate of baseball playoffs on TV. So it's got to be Friday. How's everybody doing? Good to see folks coming in. You will have to forgive my voice at times. It's still a bit on the healing side. Had a really rough week. If you saw my post, had to have some things taken care of. But back in the saddle and was enjoying some baseball today and got a nice little flight of scotch I'm going to go into tonight. This is the first, this is really the first drinks I've had in quite a while now. So hoping to enjoy them with y'all and kick it, see what's going on. It's Friday, you can do all that fun stuff. Excuse me. And I do apologize in advance, well, not really in advance, but posthumously in a way. There was no live stream this week, no review this week, which is very much not an expectation that I like to break, but unfortunately this week it just couldn't happen. But we'll be back in the saddle for the live stream again on usual Tasty Tuesday coming up on Tuesday, and I'll have another review posted up next week. So in the meantime, I do have a nice little flight set up for tonight. As I said, it's having been down and under the weather for quite some time. I was trying to think about a couple whiskeys I wanted to pour tonight just to go back and enjoy maybe, or revisit, some that have been kind of always intriguing me a little bit. So I kind of picked a nice array of things here that I'm going to sip on tonight, which I'll share now. So I'm starting things off tonight with Magic Cask. This is from Compass Box. This is a blend. I'll tell you a bit more about it as we get into things. And I got this earlier this year, and I haven't been able to pin this whiskey down, so we'll see how it goes tonight. Got some Bunnahabhain 12, classic, one of my favorites, which I love to just, it's a nice starter. Pretty heavy flavor, but I always like to revisit it. This is another one that I've been working on for over a year now. This is Ledaig, 18 years old. I actually got this over in the UK when I was over there. And I'm about halfway done with this bottle. And every time I pick it up, it's something new. I can't quite figure out where I fall on that whiskey. It's either great or it's just very good. I'm not quite sure. But I think we'll see how it lays on the palate tonight. I'm going to wrap things up with of course I've been eagerly sipping away at this, which is the new Carchis. I think I talked about this one on my live streams a few weeks ago. This is the Pedro Jimenez Cask Strength Laphroaig Cairdeas for 2021. So nice little sherry heavy flight. So definitely leaning onto the sherries a bit here, and bring it home with a little peat. So yeah, it should be nice. Got some Rays Red Sox on TV. Life is good. Brewers won today. Great game. Tense game. So yeah, happy Friday, y'all. That's what's going on. Let me say hi to folks let me say hi to everybody in the chat here. Daniel from East Texas. Thank you. Yeah, good to see you, man. Appreciate that. And James Morgan over in London. Okay. Good to see you, man. Yeah, it was a cold and then some, man. Yeah, I won't get into the details. Let's just say I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Saying hi to Daniel. Mr. Gerbic, Jupiter, Florida. Happy Friday to you, sir. Nice to have you, man. You going the Texas Bash next weekend? I'm not sure what that is. What's the Texas Bash? Hey, SoCal is in the house. Oh boy. Dodgers Giants tonight, man. It's gonna be a good one. I got a friend out there and lives in Los Angeles, a big Dodgers fan, and yeah, he's definitely readying himself for what should be quite a tense series between those two teams. Should be good sports watching, though, that's for sure. Donner passed whiskey out in Northern California. Greetings. Just got home from a week vacation at Lake Tahoe. It snowed this morning. My God. That's right. You were up in Tahoe, man. I've never been up that way. The closest I've been is, Yosemite. Probably the closest I've been to Tahoe. So very different in many respects, I know. But how was it? I can only imagine. It's fantastic. That's what I always hear from folks that go to Tahoe, man. Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Yeah. Having missed a bit over a week of hanging out and doing YouTube stuff, I thought I'd sneak something in for a little bit tonight. What else we got going on here? Peter White up in Ontario and Surprise Live. Yes, you got it. Old Buna 12 at that. Yeah, this is a bit of an older bottling. It's funny that you bring this up. So this is like what the older labels of Buna looked like before maybe 2017 or something. But here's the thing. There's all these I go into all these liquor stores and they have these old especially around Christmas time in the United States, they have all of these gift packs, they want a bottle with two Glencairns or two rocks glasses or something. The Buna 12, there was the set of Buna 12 with rocks glasses. I still see it everywhere, and it's all old bottlings. So it's why not just buy that if you want to get an older bottle, an olderish bottling, and then you just end up with a huge collection of Buna rocks glasses, right? So I think I have I got 4 of them. You get 2 with each, so it's kind of cool. But that's the only time I see it. I never see it loose in the wild. Cohen. Yeah, y'all got to forgive me. I'm gonna be talking a little bit slower than normal tonight. Got the Compass Box Orchard House this week for $42 at High Times. That's that new. That's that new kind of sort of entry level one. What do you think about it? $42 seems like a very good price, and I'm assuming it's 43%, right? Give or take. I know. I think you emailed me a while back about it. I haven't seen it yet here. I haven't really been out and shopping around, but Orchard House Compass Box. Yeah. Anybody else have this one? Looks like it's 46%. That's great. Whiskey Base has it as an 87, almost 86.7% score. That's pretty good. Really cool looking bottle. It's bourbon, Oloroso, and French oak. Ooh. The distillate in it is Kalila, Kleinleash, Benrinus, and Linkwood. That sounds pretty good, man. 46%. It's only around $50. I'll take it. Definitely take it. Unless you say that it's totally off, and we'll wait to hear back from you, Colin. But that French oak always gets me interested, especially after I started drinking those Balcones. Or I had the Balcones single malt French oak. That really put it over the top for me. Yeah, thanks. I was trying to figure out. I felt like I gotta have some pours. It's been a while, but I just don't know what. And yeah, these are the ones that kind of stuck out. Just kind of going darker and fruitier and cherrier, and then speedier. Laphroaig 18 seems to divide reviewers. Haven't had it. Yeah. we'll talk about it probably within the next hour or so. The thing about the Ledaig 18 is that, I mean, it is nothing like the Ledaig 10, right? That's just kind of like a bourbon cask and, young and peaty. This is like very, very sherried, and there's a lot of like very dark notes. There's almost like, there's some, man, I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. Not arsenic, but like there's like some very unique char notes in it. There's some like sulfuric notes, but they're like, it almost seems intentional. Not as like the byproduct of just, the casks. And I think if some people, it strikes as like something is off or something like that. Whereas to others, it's part of like the Tobermory kind of art that they put into this whiskey. Definitely one worth trying. And Donner Pass, I'll keep that in mind. The next time I send you some samples, maybe I'll send you one of these. I'd love to hear what you think about it. But yeah, we'll be getting into that shortly. Nice to see the Jays cast. Yes, Rowdy. To Les, that was good stuff. The last lot 40 cast strength was French oak as well. Really? Oh, that one. Yeah. The fourth version or the fourth release of it or something like that. That's a good one, man. I gotta try that. Anyways, thanks everybody for the well wishes. I do appreciate it. I'm sorry that again I was just sort of off the grid for a while, but things happen. Cohen or Dustin, Go Sports Ball stuff. Yes, indeed. How are you, Dustin? Nice to see you, man. Yeah. Ohio, right? Insofar as you care about any sports teams, are you like on the Cincinnati team side of things, Cleveland, or neither for that matter? I don't know where you are exactly in Ohio. I know where your boy Urban Meyer is in Ohio. That guy. Character. So the Compass Box canvas and passing the price. It's finished in Spanish orange flavored wine. That sounds gross. Oh yeah, no. That doesn't sound nearly as interesting as that Orchard House does. Didn't they have something in like an orange liqueur, like a Cointreau or something like that? It was called like the orange. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought Compass Box had some kind of orange flavored thing. I was skeptical. Hey, what's up, Ray? On my first pour Ledaig 18 subsequent parts have been great too. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, man. Yeah, I can understand that. It's not. I mean, the first sip of it is definitely challenging. Is a word for it. Also, just kind of a little like you're not really sure. It's different. I quite like what it's become in this one, and again, I haven't had it in a while, so I'm looking forward to it. Digging in a little bit more. Oh, wow. Where did you find that? Everyone knows Urban. Yeah, man. That character, dude. Urban Meyer. Yeah. If you don't know about that story, look him up. It's pretty funny. Pretty ridiculous. I'm a UK fan in college sports. Kentucky, okay. But in pro sports, Ms. Bill Simmons is a sports atheist. I root for players or GMs and coaches like right up. Okay. Marmalade in the tasting notes. Kentucky is all Cincinnati sports fans. All right. Oh, it's a Glenallachie. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. I see 86. All right, buddy. I feel you. I was wondering, I thought about you when I decided to log on tonight. I was like, oh man, our friend out in the Georgia suburbs is going to probably have a couple things to say tonight, no matter what the result is of this game. It's a hell of a game today, man. All right, so as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, I'm revisiting something I opened a bit earlier this year, and I've still just not been able to put my finger on. I want to like it more than I think I do. I'm going to do a full review of this very soon, but this is the Magic Cask from Compass Box. So outside of its very like, well, one could argue cool art or I don't know, man. It kind of Las Vegas gimmicky art. They put on a show. This is a really just kind of an oddball whiskey. So they did first of all, it's I don't know, now probably like $200. Don't buy this at $200. I'm just gonna tell you right now. 5,538 bottles. And they got a whole story on this, but basically, they took some like 1-year-old spirit and like threw it into this like first fill Oloroso sherry butts, and then like a few years later, basically they were like so blown away by how great it smelled as they pulled it out. And this sherry butt, specifically number 2, was just like the most amazing sherry butt, whatever. And so basically what's happened here is they've taken some of that juice and they've blended it in here with some other stuff. And so what you have here is 92% first fill bourbon barrel from the Imperial Distillery, which is a distillery that no longer distills, or at least I don't believe they do. And then they have this single malt that was in this coveted sherry butt that's like the most amazing first fill sherry butt in the history of sherry butts, from a distillery somewhere near Aberlour. That's what it says. And they blended it all together to a 92% first fill bourbon, 8% sherry ratio. Bottled it at 46%, called it Magic Cask. There was a Magic Cask way in the past, which is also a part of the story and references. It's a very long, convoluted story, which I'll spare you the entirety of. But that's basically the thing. They had this cask. This cask is amazing. They couldn't believe how amazing it was. Its flavor, its texture, its mouthfeel, whatever. So they threw a bunch of it in. They threw a bunch of it into this, for a couple of years, a spirit into it, and then they blended it with this Imperial stuff, which they don't actually put in age on. I don't think. Let's just double check here. No, yeah. So this is NAS, but you could speculate the age on the whiskey. It doesn't drink like an incredibly old whiskey. It doesn't have a high level of viscosity, especially for something that's first fill. But we're going to get into it here. I'm going to put just a little bit more on the glass. I'd love to hear if anybody did kind of go splurge on this and get excited by it, and if you were disappointed, whatever. I will say that my first sips on it, I was not all that impressed. I felt disjointed. It felt surprisingly youthful and had a lot of had a bit of an alcohol astringency to it that I was a little put off by. But in my last time I sat down with this, which was probably over 2 months ago, it did seem like it had gotten better. It kind of felt like it married better, and flavors were starting to kind of work a bit better than they did when I opened it. But that's where we're at here. So this is what it is. 46%. It's non-chill filtered. It's natural color. So yay for Compass Box on that. 5,538 bottles. Blah blah. And some folks got some comments. Yeah, that sounds about right. I was like, the last time I visited it, I thought kind of similar. I was like, I mean, there's something good about this, but I don't quite know what it is. And I don't know, it's hard to if I can't find anything else to compare it to be like, is this actually spectacular or is it just decent whiskey? I don't know. But anyways, that's the story of this. We're gonna just dive in a little bit here. I mean, I would. that's probably the way to go over this one. I think this one you're just going to have a ton of inflated prices too because of the scarcity. But anyways, Magic Cask. Man, there's a really warm apple baking spices, like an apple pie. There's a ton of apple pie going on in this, which arrives with the sweetness of the apple and a bit of the tartness of the apple as well. So it's almost like a green apple. A little gingery gingerbread. Mostly a sweet. It's mostly sweet forward fruit sweetness. But then you get some, you do get some spice on the back. As you go deeper though, and this is where you kind of got to poke around a bit with this. If you just do a quick nose of this whiskey, it's not going to you can't really find much. But there's this magic cask inside. So like, where the hell is it? Let's find it. And it's behind the apple and the cinnamon, obviously. The other thing I'll mention, there's like a caramelized pears kind of thing. Pears, cinnamon, apple, that kind of thing, right? Very bourbon cask flavor notes, albeit nice ones. But then there's this cherry that just like does not belong in this. It's not the cherry note you get off of like your Knob Creek or something. It's much more of like a maraschino cherry. It's sweet. There's a bit of a vanilla note with it as well. It's concentrated. Almost maybe like a like a raspberry or something. And it's in there. It's just not, it's subtle on the nose. It doesn't, it's 46%. It's not really an age statement. But I'll tell you, there's levels of complexity to this that you just won't pick up right away if you kind of just, nose it a couple times and leave it at that. Getting a little bit of a citrus now. Again, as you can see, spectrum-wise, this is very much fruit, sweet, dominant kind of thing. And that magic cask of that Oloroso sherry butt is poking through a bit. All in all, pleasant nose, not aggressive. It has some unexpected depth. Getting some kind of nice, almost roasted almonds. Very sweet. Okay, let's give it a taste. Viscosity wise, on the lighter side, it gets more viscous as it develops, which is always nice. Flavor, apple, the nose basically walks right in the door to the palate. Apple, pear, cinnamon, a very light sugary cinnamon. We're not talking like deep, dark or cinnamon stick or like a ground cinnamon. It's like cinnamon sugar. But then you get this nice oaky spice, and then a nice thick hit, and I want to say it's like butterscotch, caramel, and wrapped in like a raspberry or something, some type of like berry. There's a nice rounded red fruit note that's just kind of binding all of these things together and accenting some of these flavors that you normally kind of experience just as is. It's not overpowering. It's subtle. It's there though. And as it goes into the finish, which is a surprisingly long, medium long finish on this, white chocolate, cocoa, again, slight berry, slight floral note. it gives you kind of like a pasty floralness to it. You know, it definitely has some of those. If you can say that there's a classic Compass Box profile, which we all know, mostly in Kleinleash or Kalila and stuff, there's definitely Kalila in this. The peatiness, very tame. It brings up, it just elevates things. It elevates things just enough to keep this from being too much of like a lopsided, I think, bourbon cask forward whiskey. This is pretty good, but I still, as of right now, I'm not, and nothing blowing my mind. Yeah, we'll sip this a little bit more. Disjointed oddity. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Hey, Stephen Connor's here. How you doing, Stephen? Great to see you, man. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that he was doing that. I actually did not quite fully as I said, I've been kind of off for over the last week for various health reasons, and so I just did not really watch much of his videos, so I didn't see. But he's been putting out, like, where did he get all these old bottles? There's no Kleinleash in the Magic Cask. Oh, really? Did I say Kleinleash? What did I say? Oh, you know what? It's because I was thinking about that orchard house that we were talking about. That's right. Yeah, this is the Imperial, and then they put in there from somewhere around Ambermar. That makes sense. But it does have, I would say, like, palate-wise, it has some of that kind of signature flavor that I get out of a lot of Compass Box. I'm thinking specifically about Spice Tree with this one. Delicate. Do the Orchard House. I want to know about that Orchard House. I got to know if I should go out and buy it or not. That price looks promising. Plus 46%, plus French oak. Dude, hook me up. What's up, Mahir? How are things in India, man? Delhi? What's good, buddy? Sorry, 22 years. Oh, you're talking about the Imperial, the first fill bourbon whiskey that they put in here? Yeah, it's like 20 something like that, right? Which is in part probably why this is as costly as it is. I mean, that's not cheap whiskey again. I actually had some Imperial, an independent bottling of it. God damn, I wish I could remember what that was. Fuck. Sorry. Great story, right? I'll let you know. Once I remember it, I'll let you know. But it was quite good. Look, the hype around this was interesting. It's a good whiskey. It's not bad. There's nothing about this that's like that really bothers me, or that I think it's just not. I don't think it just, unless you're really into Compass Box or like just have to have this for some reason, it's not one of these go out and run out and buy it whiskeys. It's just kind of like, especially at the price you pay for it. I still feel like it falls for me in that like 3.25, 3.5 kind of range, which would be like, 82 to 85. I can't never give you an exact number. Who knows? One day it's an 82, the next day it's an 84. I don't know. Depends on how you're feeling. But that's kind of the range that this falls in for me, that 3.25 to 3.5 range, I would say. Nice stuff. And I just don't feel like it's something you need. But I'm going to enjoy it for a little bit longer. And as you can see, this is not an easy whiskey to like try to think about reviewing. So I've been actually taking a lot of notes when I've been drinking this, and I'm planning in November to do like 4 bottle. Like each review is going to be a Compass Box bottle because I haven't been collecting a decent amount of them, and I think I'm going to do this one. But boy, this is one of those whiskeys that really just changes all the time. No. Decent stuff. You don't need to go break the bank for it. I don't think you'll like feel like you've really missed out on something. Personally, my Compass Box to date, like probably my favorite Compass Box to date, or at least the one that I find to be best bang for the buck, is the Compass Box Spice Tree Extravaganza. That one I really love. I think I may review that as well. Cool. We got 12 folks in. Great to see everybody. Again, I do apologize if you guys have issues like hearing me and stuff. I've been recovering from some serious throat infection, and I've been on the mend. So thanks for rolling with a week of no content, and glad to be able to come on and hang out with everybody and be back in the saddle next week. We'll do a live stream next week, but then I'll be gone the following week again. I'm actually going to Paris with a friend of mine. I'm going to try and hook up with Greg while I'm there. I don't know if it's going to work out, but we're going to figure it out. And if it does, I'll try to give folks advance notice about that. And then when I get back, I think we're going to kick into this Compass Box week or a month of reviews or something. So it should be a lot of fun. Oh, thanks, man. Coming from you, that's a serious compliment. Things have built up over the years. You just kind of like keep finding stuff. Definitely. Speaking of that, somebody had asked me if I should to do one of those like home bar videos or something like that. Because like in addition to these, I have like 5 of these like gray bins just filled with stuff that I don't have room for. I'm sure you know all about things like that. That I gotta, find room for eventually. So I'll probably maybe I'll do one of those videos one of these days. That could be a lot of fun. I don't know. I always felt like it was like kind of like I'm showing off or something like that, which I'm not trying to do. But at the same time, if people want to like see all this stuff I've spent my money on, then happy to show folks. And yeah, there's a couple treasures back there for sure that I've got to pick up over the years. And I've heard about port finish. I've heard about this too, man. That's like my lesson of the year for myself around spirits. Actually, you bring up a really good point, Cohen. I have been very hesitant for the majority of my whiskey drinking time of sherry finished or matured bourbons. Particularly, like I just didn't feel like the flavors would work. I had 2 in the past that I just didn't find to be all that compelling. Angel's Envy, and one of the other one I think was a port or something, was Breckenridge. It's like, why are they doing this? Like this is just like so gimmicky. Just make it bourbon. Bourbon and these things aren't going to really work. I have been pleasantly surprised this year by a few. The top one being the Rabbit Hole Derringer, which is a bourbon that's matured in some PX. And actually how good it could be. The barrel stuff too. Now it's not always bourbon, but whatever. Like I've been turning around on that, which of course increases my interest in bourbon, because one of the things I love about Scotch is just the variety. Now, I still feel like at the end of the day, it's bourbon, right? Like you don't have that range. A port cask in 10 scotches is going to taste, I think the range of potential flavors like here. Port cask in 10 bourbons, it's like here, but still really good. Like it's a good if you're doing it right, it's a good way to like, get you a different flavor of a bourbon. And I've heard good things about Woodinville, so that's good to know, Colin. Thank you. Clearly didn't have the 2015 Flaming Heart. I have one of them. I just don't know which one it is. It's not the 2015. It's definitely not that. That one was magic. That's what I've heard. I probably have I don't know which one is. Vice Tree Extravaganza is good too, but way lower level compared to the Flaming Heart. That's probably true for sure. Cheers, man. Go Brewers. Roy, what's your most treasured bottle? I have that's an easy one. I have a 1980s Lagavulin 16 White Horse. That's probably the most treasured. I have it actually put away. I don't even have it out. White Horse Distillers Lagavulin 16. Yeah. After that, I would probably say I have a couple of these Laphroaig Cask drinks from like 2011 and 12. Those are up there, and then the Ardbeg Day. There might be another one or two things that I would say are in there, but the Lagavulin the White Horse Distillers, 16-year-old from I think it's in 80s or 90s release. I don't even remember, but that's the one. That's my definitely. Yeah. Ooh, that sounds delicious. Yum. All right. So next on the flight here, nothing fancy, but a classic. One of my favorites, actually, if I'm being completely honest. Bunnahabhain 12. If you're not familiar with Bunnahabhain, you should get yourself familiar with it. They're an awesome distillery. They're a very uniquely flavored distillery. They're not going to be for everybody. Resinous, kind of dark fruit, dark kind of, I don't know how the hell you want to describe it. All of their whiskey has a very, or their distillate has a very kind of musty funk to it. Not in like a Springbank way. It's just kind of like a musty, almost like fermented note to it. I absolutely love it. I don't want you to get the wrong impression about fermentation or like fermented note. I don't mean it's like, a thing of grapes or something like that, but I'm really, really digging. I've really, really got into them and enjoyed. I have a couple bottles of theirs. I have a couple of their limited releases. I have their 25 years old. This is one that I'm really excited to open, which I think I'm going to do pretty soon on a show. This is a signatory unchill filtered series, Bunnahabhain. It's called a Stoisha. It's a heavily peated Bunnahabhain. And this bottle, it's 59.2%. But the reason that this one is special is that this bottle was picked by Jack Rose Dining Saloon in Washington, D.C. It's a 6-year-old, one of the best whiskey bars, if not the best whiskey bar in the United States. And their bottle picking is amazing. I have been lucky enough to try some of the picks that they've done over the years of both bourbons and scotches. I mean, they do the best Willets you'll probably ever find. Plus, I mean, you can go down the line. If you're ever in Washington, D.C. and have $300 in your pocket, I highly suggest you go there and just sit down with their Bible of a whiskey menu and just try things that they have stuff you'll never find anywhere It's a high integrity place, but they do picks periodically, and this one somehow got out. So they're not always easy to find. There are some DC stores that will get a few of them in, and then be able to resell them. And then that's why I got this Bunnahabhain 6, which I'll try. But that's for another day. Today, it's just Bunna 12. The thing that I love the most about this whiskey, and I don't know why it has this note, and I don't know really other ones that do, is it smells like an old bookstore. It has this like minerality, this kind of like dampness, this mustiness of like you're downtown in a major, in a city, and like, you go into some old downtown bookstore and it's kind of disheveled, and there's, things are all over the place, and it's all used books, and the books have that smell to it. If you know what I'm talking about, like I get that out of Bunnahabhain 12 quite a bit. And that, well, I quite enjoy. It's very sherried, so you get a lot of nice fruit out of this. It's from Islay, but there's no peat. Not really any to detect, so it's kind of like an Islay whiskey that's a little bit of a playing by its own rules, but really good pour anytime. Rich, heavy notes, dates, figs, raisins. There's a little bit of this peatiness to it. Oak, spice. Really? That's so exciting to hear. It was like a 6-year-old. Man, then you got me excited. I spent like $100 on this, and I was like, am I crazy for spending $100 on a 6-year-old? But I know, casks are more, just as important, if not more important than age, in my opinion. Probably the most important thing. And I just trust Jack Rose's picks, but man, this is a ringing endorsement. This is really good. I think I'll open it on a live show one of these days. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're 100% right, man. I think Mike and I should do the whole lineup, sample it out to friends. Are you talking about the new Diageos, the Diageo picks? Yeah. How much is that 26-year-old Lagavulin going for, though? Like a couple $1,000 probably. It's not bad. Oh, for like a sample of all of them, or just the Lagavulin? Yeah, this is a nice kind of, this is more of a wintry, fall, winter, hi Winston, whiskey for me. It's a little heavy for like a summer drink, in my opinion. Maybe like at night, but I really enjoy this stuff. Simple, good price. It's not bad. Which you'll get like 13 samples out, 13, 14 bottles out, or sample bottles out of each. Yeah, makes sense. There's one other one in that lineup. Obviously that Lagavulin is really interesting. Wasn't there like, well, they're doing the Lagavulin 12 as well, but there's another, what's the Talisker in there? I think it was another 8-year, isn't it? It's another 8-year on the Talisker. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I hope they're. I didn't have the Lagavulin 12 from 2020, but I heard mixed things on it. I hope this one's good. The last one I had was 2019, which I thought was okay, but the 2018 was better. Right. Yeah, Talisker 8. Yeah. Let me take a look at it really quick. Oh man, Red Sox have pulled ahead 8-5. Wow, what a turnaround. Yeah, so the distillers editions this year for not the distillers editions, they're like some artist is doing it. They're supposed to be about like basically the theme of all of these special releases from Diageo this year are like monsters from Scotland, being revealed, right? Like the lore of these things being brought down and put on bottles. They're pretty cool looking bottles. I encourage folks to look it up. There you go. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's definitely looking for some attention. The Oban is the one I really wanted to group. That was the one that was kind of an interesting release. Isn't it like a 12-year or something like that? Like an Oban 12? Let me actually just bring this up instead of me sitting here speculating. So here's what we got, which is what folks are talking about here. So the Legends Untold is the new theme of the Diageo special releases this year. Mortlock 13, Glendulin 19, Talisker 8, 2 Lagavulins, a 12 and a 26, Cardew 14, Oban 12. That's interesting. There's something about the Oban. It's like, isn't it like first fill bourbon casks or something like that? And there's a Royal Lochlangar too, which I don't know. Does anybody have any opinions on those? Talisker 8. Word. Cool. Yeah. I don't know. I have not. Which for those of you who are in the U.S. buying those, or is there a particular place you're seeing them already in the U.K. online? I'm assuming like some of the regular places, Whiskey World, things like that. Would be curious if you have these out anywhere else. Oh yeah, here they are. You can pre-order them on Whiskey World. Yeah, 1,800 for the Lagavulin. The Oban though, yeah, that's interesting. Not a bad price on that. Same with the Talisker. Anyways, I know which one you're talking about. Top Shelf Dustin. Yes. I know which one you're talking about. Okay. Anyways, Bunnahabhain 12 is a 4 out of 5 whiskey. You want to know why? It's complex. It's rich. It doesn't have really any flaws. It's greatly priced and has a decent amount of complexity. There you go. I think it's a damn good whiskey. Oh, and it's natural color, and it's unchill filtered, and it's 46.3%. What more do you want? For $50, ain't that many better whiskeys these days with age statements. It's not going to wow the more sophisticated folks, but I would never turn down a glass of it. It would be rude if you did. That's all I would say. I'm 4 out of 5 all day on the Bunna 12, man. It's a great whiskey. If it was too, if the price was higher, obviously we'd want to take that into account. in a malt reviews type way. But yeah, this is one of those I'm always just gonna have on the shelf. I'd be really curious to try to use this in a cocktail sometime. I don't know with what. I could see this maybe working in an old fashioned, as strange as that sounds. Mm. All right. So we got 2 down, 2 to go. Again, it's great to see everybody again, man. I'm glad I could jump on and hang out. Hope everybody's enjoying your evening. Love to hear what's in the glass. If you're sipping on anything right now. Next up, we got Ledaig 18, and then we are gonna go back and visit the Laphroaig Cairdeas 2021 PX Cask strength. I think this has been open for about 3 weeks. I've done a little bit of damage to it. I'm very curious to hear what folks have thought about this one. I think in my original show where I opened it, I said the new Laphroaig Cairdeas is better than the 10-year-old Sherry Oak that they just released, and they're about at the same price. I think I'm going to stand by that when I get back into this, but we'll see. So let's hope it's not the 2019. You're talking about the Lagavulin 12 2019? Well, yeah, a lot of people didn't like that one. I'm not sure why. I thought it was quite good. It had such a raw elemental. It reminded me in certain ways of had some kind of anach quality to it. I thought it was good. I will admit I do not have a lot of them that I can frame it against. I have had the 2017, the 2018, and the 2016. I thought the 17 and the 18 were better. They were richer. But I did really enjoy... I thought the 2019 was pretty good. In fact, I think I still have some. Wasn't there somebody else? And there was only one other person I think I ever saw that really enjoyed it. I don't remember who did the review of it, but maybe. I'm not sure. I would hope that they wouldn't do that to that Lagavulin 26. There you go. I see. Yeah. Well, we're back at it tomorrow, buddy. 4 Central, 5 Eastern. Okay. Next up is going to be Ledaig. See, that's an interesting thing there. So, what I felt like it just didn't have the same level of cask, it didn't showcase as much of the cask. I really found it to be pretty complex. It had a lot of flavor. It was very rounded despite being only 12 years old. It had a very clean, natural kind of thing going on to it. It was different. I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't hate it as much as folks did, but I do understand why some folks didn't feel as strongly about it. Because I think in some way, I don't know. I think some folks the cask influence just wasn't as prominent, and that throws folks off. But I thought the 2019 was quite good. You know what it reminded me of in a way, Dustin, is, and I think this is another whiskey that some people find kind of, I don't know, controversial is the word, but if you've ever had, and I'm sure you had the Balvenie 12-year-old single barrels, where it's nominally first fill bourbon, but the whiskey is it's got some bitter, it's much more spirit driven. That I found to be kind of old school refreshing about it, in a way. And I think maybe I felt a little bit similar to the Lagavulin 12 2019. But, the problem at the end of the day with that stuff is is it's the price is just getting too high. And like for them to be as all across the board, Winston, get out of there. With this stuff, it's like I just don't feel confident throwing down $150, $160 on these 12-year-olds anymore, where it's like you just don't know what the hell you're getting. I don't know. Like the 2020 I heard was like kind of the worst of both worlds. Well, I don't know. But anyways, that was kind of my like comps. You do? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the thing, right? Like I personally enjoy both of them. I don't think, like, I'm sure that, you pour, like I was saying earlier, it's like, Christ, you pour the 2018 versus the 2019. I like the 2018 more, but I just didn't feel like it was as disappointing as many folks did. I just thought it was, in my opinion, it was different in a way that I kind of found interesting. But that said, I still don't feel like it was the $150 bottle. I mean, remember when those were like $110? Now it's like, Jesus Christ, man. You really got to throw down on these bottles. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I'm not sure I'm willing to do it. We'll see. I did not buy the 2020 particularly because I just was like, is it really going to be the next big thing? I doubt it. Anyways, okay, so here's what we're going through next. And Don or Pass, if you're still around, this will be a good one to chat about. Let me get a clean glass going here. So here's what we got. This is Ledaig, 18 years old, Tobermory Distillery. It is batch 3. So they have changed their presentation of this. It no longer comes in this big, ostentatious. That's not ostentatious, but it's a big wooden box. Now they come in a cardboard box, which I think is more playing to like Ledaig's presentation. I thought this was a little bit like, whoa, okay, guys. Compare it when you look at the 10 and it's like literally a black box. Anyways, I actually picked this up in the UK a couple years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago, yeah. Been slowly kind of making my way through. And, this is a really interesting one because, again, if you've had the Ledaig 10, which I'm a big fan of, you find it's a very raw, elemental, peaty, no compromises islands whiskey. And then you get the 18, and, I mean, it's a totally different animal. And I don't mean it in a bad way. I've just never been quite sure if it's great or it's just good. And that's what I think is where I fall on this whiskey. This does have a finish in Spanish oak or Spanish sherry wood. Yeah. It's peated. It doesn't come off as intensely as I think it does in the 10, which makes total sense. Most of the time, the older whiskeys that have peat, the peat tends to play nicer as it gets older. I'm just trying to see if there's any more like specific notes on this. So, this is just one of those whiskeys where, like, if you're into Ledaig or who's into Ledaig? I don't know. Do you know anybody? Does anybody know any of you guys out there, like, just huge Ledaig guys or gals? Let me know. It's kind of a beguiling distillery, right? Like, they do, their stuff is a little bit off the beaten path. And this whiskey definitely speaks to that. I will tell you, it's non-chill filtered, which is great, 46.3%. You can find these in the United States, which I didn't realize at the time when I was in the UK. Right around that $150 mark. Good price. But it is not a whiskey that, like, you're going to, everybody you pour it for is going to love it. It's got a lot of stuff going on, as Donner Pass was talking about. Donner Pass and I were just chatting. This is one of those whiskeys that, like, it has its own. It's divisive. People's got very strong opinions. whether they think this is a great one or not. Really? Hey, look who's in the house. It's Trooper, man. What's up, buddy? Great to see you, man. Awesome. Trooper's in the house. Good to see you. Happy Friday. Good press over here. That's good. Yeah, their boxes. Oh, they're just getting rid of them all together. Yeah, I was going to say, like, this Compass box, Spice Tree box, flimsy as all hell. I couldn't believe it. And same with the Pete Heart or the Pete Monster Arcana box. I was like, holy shit. They really toned down the quality of those boxes. Anyways, so basically what we're looking at here is a peated whiskey from Tobermory, Isle of Mull. It's an Islands whiskey. It's not Isla, and it's got a sherry finish. The color is unclear. They do not mention if it's natural color on any of their stuff, so we have to assume the color's been added. But it is unchill filtered, which I think is more important. And it's 18 years old. So here we go. Wow. Just a full-on spectrum assault of spices and fruit notes. The first thing you smell on this, you would say you're smelling like a handful of blackberries. Blackberries, and then there's... So let's talk about the fruit notes on this first, because they are like very dark and very rich. This is an Oloroso sherry, my guess. It does not say specifically, but it's Oloroso. You can tell by the notes you're getting. Dark, sticky, kind of dry fruit notes. Blackberry, boysenberry, raspberry. Heavy, kind of heavily flavored spices. Anise, clove, big, bold spice notes. You know, mulled wine comes to mind. But underneath it, we do get some nice, vibrant, like, slight minerality, peat, smoke, smoked cherries. Are smoked cherries a thing? If smoked cherries are a thing, maybe it's something smoked on cherry wood. I don't know. There's definitely like a barbecue element to this. Cherry. Everything is pretty harmonious. The berry notes playing pretty nicely with these, again, heavy spices. Clove, nutmeg, licorice, anise. Which is what I think in part throws off kind of what some people expect. And you don't usually get this clove and this like anise note going on here. This is what makes it a little unique. It's a very heavy, it smells heavy. It smells like it has a lot of depth and weight to it. This is not a light whiskey at all. There's a bit of a charcoal kind of just burnt, like the after, like a fire that you put out 10 minutes ago. It's kind of smoldered wood note. All of this in this glass. So I think is really interesting. Again, 46.3%, which is awesome. Here's the color one more time. Looks beautiful. Can't tell you if it's real or not, but okay. Let's give it a taste. Boy, there's a lot going on here. Let me know in the chat. Anybody had Ledaig 18 before? You got opinions on it? So here's what's going on. I mean, this is not, when you think of an 18-year-old sherry whiskey, most people probably would expect this to be sweeter than it is. Yes, there's some nice fruit sweetness, but what is much more dominant here is matchstick, is slightly sulfuric, is charcoal, is ash, clove, nutmeg, dark, heavily stewed mulled fruits and spices. Almost like a German Christmas wine, Glühwein type thing. Mixing together with a bourbon cask whiskey, you get the nice kind of slight butterscotch, vanillas, toffee, which are just kind of rounding off the edges of this. I mean, this smells like wow, my cat is going crazy. There's just so much going on here. It's not as expected, I guess. It's not like what I would characterize as a whiskey that you just, pour for your average fan who likes a nice sherry. This is not that. This is a very unique whiskey. I don't know that it's uniquely Tobermory, but it's uniquely what it is. And I think it works. So if you like sweet, but not, you like sherry whiskeys, but you don't like them to be so sweet that they're just, overpowering everything and you just have a sweet whiskey bomb and that's that. This brings other elements, particularly the slightly bitter spice, the slightly smoky note, the, things like that. Meaty quality, savories. I'll tell you, if you're looking for something to really kind of challenge you, this is a busy whiskey, but it's rewarding. So as I said earlier, my question was like to myself has always been, is this just good or is it closer to great? I think it's closer to great. It's like it pushes some flavors that I normally would not. Pardon me a second. What are you doing? It pushes some flavors that I normally would not enjoy playing too strong apartment whiskey to the max, but somehow they make it work. What I'm particularly talking about is like anise or clove. A lot of clove in this. Chai, like chai tea. There's just a lot of it going on here. I need to get a little bit more water in here. And around $150 US, give or take. I think this is worth it if you're looking for something, This I can imagine would go really good with a cigar for those who are cigar smokers. There's some tobacco note quality to this, some leathery quality, some shoe polish quality. Damn good whiskey. And I just think it's one of these where like you would really stand to spend good time with this because I think there's a lot to uncover. You need to give me just a second because I need to handle my really, really obnoxious cat. And he's about to get shot with my water gun. Because that's what he gets. This is how you train a cat, by the way, folks. If you have an annoying cat in your life, kitten that's just trying to test your boundaries, if figure out how far you'll go. There's a really great solution to training them, and that's the Piao Piao. Yeah. You won't be going over there anymore, will you? That's right. It's harmless. It gets the point across. High praise here. And in fact, speaking of water, I'm going to do a little bit of water on this whiskey. I'll just do like 2 drops. Says nothing close to the Glenallachie 10 Batch 6. That's what I've heard. I've heard a lot of good things about the Batch 6. The Batch 5 blows my mind. Oh, yeah, dude. If I'm going to catch crap from the Meow Meow, he's getting some of the Piao Piao. That's all I'm saying. That's what's happening over here. Nah, man, he asks for it, You know how it is. He'll get over it. I don't want to have to get up all the time, They think they can push your limits, This is how they work, man. Yeah, PP life indeed. So, anyways, I love this whiskey. I think this Ledaig 18 is really great. I think it's a diamond in the rough, much like the Ledaig 10 is. This on a much higher level. The sulfur matchstick thing might throw some people off. Results, results may vary based on the bottle of the batch you get regarding that. I've only had this batch 3, which is the one I'm sipping right now. But I really think you're in for something special if you pick this up. It just has a quality level that I think they really deliver on, man. Yeah, good point, Stephen Connor. That is what I've heard, man. They do a lot, especially if you can get UK releases. They just do a lot of just like different random finished whiskeys. Here in the US, we really don't get any Ledaigs. You get the Ledaig 10 and then maybe the Ledaig 18. And that's it, I'm sure you know this. But it's like if you go into some of the UK places that ship, man, they got all sorts of different finished Ledaigs, which are exciting. I recently had one. It was a much more inexpensive one. It was part of this thing called the Sinclair series, and it was a non-age statement Ledaig that's like finished, or it was matured exclusively in Spanish Rioja casks. That was pretty good. It was only like $45. It wasn't the most, lack to finish, but it was an NAS. But, obviously if you're willing to spend a little bit of money, you can get like, some of those like 13, 14-year-old distillery releases, or, they do a lot of stuff like Bunnahabhain does. I've noticed where it's like they just put out all these different special releases all the time. Yeah, I'd love to try more too. All right, did you buy that to specifically shoot Winston with? Oh, this? Yeah, no, I didn't just buy this. I have 4 of these. So there's one in here. There's one in my bedroom. There's one in my living room, and there's one in my kitchen. Because you can't be scrambling for it when you need it. Because if you shoot them too late, then they don't get the point. So you gotta have a couple of them around. This is what you gotta do, dude. Like, otherwise, dude, they'll. What am I gonna do? I'm sitting in here, and then all of a sudden he's out there tearing up my freaking mid-century modern couch. Fuck no, dude. The hell you are. But I'm not gonna get up and chase him. So he's been trying to tear up this bag in here, and he's super timid right now. I've got him twice with that. He ain't even going near that bag now. They're crazy animals. They only understand force, apparently. That's not true. But, I bet, man. The super soaker. Oh shit! No, I don't need nothing like that, man. Mike, hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always a love-hate relationship for a while, right? He's just, he's a kitten, man. He doesn't know boundaries, and like I've only had him for a few months, and so it's like, I mean, he's not, he's 1 year old, so he's stopping being a kitten, but it's a way to enforce boundaries. Like, I mean, most of the time you don't even have to hit them with the water. You just pick it up and they look at you and they know. And they'll wait and see what you're going to do with it. It's a whole fucking game. This is true. I mean, I am his staff. Goofball. Do you get any mint or eucalyptus notes on this? No, not in eucalyptus. Maybe a little bit of mint. Oh, Daniel H. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Water gun money. Oh, Winston, dude. They're gonna help me fund my anti-cat arsenal. What are you gonna do? He's crazed, man. Yeah, maybe a bit on the mint. I'm not sure eucalyptus. That's that one. I'll be honest. I'm not sure I can pick that note up too well. I'm also on a lot of, I'm on some medication that might be. Yeah. This time next year, I'm gonna have one of those things with like the backpack, like with the big canisters filled with water and just like lock and load, man. It'll be like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger and Predator, dude. Just like going after. Come on. Do it. What are you afraid of? Kill me. You ugly son of a bitch. I will have to mention anecdotally that movie still stands up. During my week of being sick, I watched that. The movie holds up. Still really good. Really good movie. Predator 2, I don't know not sure what to say about. Yeah, right? Go Bucks. That was awesome. Yeah, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves as Wisconsin sports fans. Brewers are in the playoffs. Just won today. Packers are looking good, Sorry, Cone. Although your boys are looking good too, man. Stafford. You guys got the better end of that deal. Bucks NBA champions. Shit. Not so bad being a Wisconsin sports fan these days. Not so bad at all. Not normally something, that we can never say. So these are good times, rare times. Let's put it that way. Anyways, the Chegg 18, I really do like this whiskey, man. This is really good, and I think for like some of y'all who have been sipping on finer scotches for a while, I think would really enjoy this one. It just brings so many different things to the table, and in ways that I think people who like a little bit of funk or a little bit of nuance, a little bit of like uniqueness. I'd say this is quite unique, actually. Not a little bit of uniqueness. This is quite unique. I think you stand justice to get this. This is a 4 out of 5. Especially at that price point, man. This one still flies under the radar. All right. So we'll have one more for sure at Stafford. Yeah. Oh, I think I missed it. Dustin. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Yeah, I think, in a 4 for me, for the people who do the Telex and I and some other folks, we kind of do the old, we're from the distiller app. And so we do a lot of the distiller scores, but a 90, a 4 is anywhere between like an 88 and a 91, 92, I don't feel like I could ever pinpoint an exact thing on a whiskey, right? Because some days it just tastes better than others, and it's like how I felt that day is how I felt that day. So, if I give something a 4, yeah, I'd say it's falling in between that like 88 to 91, 92 range. Think about it as like, oh, that's a good whiskey, we should buy it. Other ways I would do it is like, I guess if you thought about like, like a 3 is like, average 78 to 82, some shit like that. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. All right. Anyways, so this is great. I'm into it, and I think I will be buying another bottle of Ledaig 18, and I think I'm going to try a different batch next time too. Oh man, look at the Georgia peaches. Good deal. Funny though, I missed something. What the hell happened? Oh, did I miss it? Yeah, I must have missed some comment somewhere. Oh well. All right. Anyways, so in the U.S., pretty good prices. I think if you hunt around enough, you can. Now, okay, first I should say it's not going to be like a whiskey you're going to be able to find sitting on the shelf at any old liquor store. But if you're able to get stuff online, I bet you could find this for $130. Maybe a little bit more. But for an 18-year-old these days, I think it's worth it. And this one definitely is worth it. If you like peat. It's not overly peated or anything like that, but it's good. It's right there, man. It's got some peat. It's got everything going, as I was saying. A lot of interesting stuff happening in this one. Keep an eye out for it. Yeah, I would look at winesearcher.com and then, let it know your location. And then I would, search for it. I'm sure you can find it, plus shipping, $130, $140. You might be able to find it for that price. And it's probably be more than worth your money. UK is going to end Georgia this year. Uh-oh. College football fight. All right. Last one on the flight. Ooh. Why not? It's been a while. Laphroaig Cairdeas 2021 release of the Cairdeas line. This one, it's Pedro Jimenez casks at cask strength 58.9%. This whiskey, it's a triple matured, basically. So what you're looking at is your standard Laphroaig X bourbon plus some amount of time plus quarter casks. Just gives it that extra kind of woody, oaky punch in the face, and then PX. It does not say. Yeah, let's see here. I'll give you the exact stats. So yeah, X bourbon, first fill X bourbon, which doesn't make sense technically. First fill X bourbon. I mean, I get what they're saying, but X bourbon usually means something different than first fill. And then the second is American Oak X bourbon quarter casks, and then European Oak hogsheads that had PX sherry. PX on the sweet side of the red fruit sherry spectrum. This a very exciting one because, in fact, this year has been interesting with Laphroaig. Laphroaig has always kind of lacked a heavily sherried whiskey for the masses. And they released earlier this year a bottle called Laphroaig 10 Sherry Oak, which was, I think I have one. It's around $100 in the U.S. It's a 10-year-old Laphroaig in sherry. Like, holy shit, they finally put out a sherry whiskey into their core range. It's not clear if it's in their core range. They say it's limited, but I think it might be core range for a while at least. Then they put out this. So the only other PX Laphroaig you could ever get was this travel exclusive one called the PX casks. This is, so this is their cartridge release this year. And they basically took that and dialed it up to 100 at 58% So these are some, there's been some heavy sherry whiskeys that have come out this year from Laphroaig. And I think both of them have been pretty solid. I think this cartridge is better than the 10-year-old sherry. I did do I think I opened it on a live stream, I don't know, right after it came out. It's 48%. That's great. 10-year-old aging, great. But this cartridge has just a little bit more going for it. Well, it has almost 11% more ABV going for it. But outside of that, the quarter cask element to it. They've really fine-tuned that, the contrast. They did the same thing with the triple wood, which was like, the triple wood was like a quarter ex-bourbon, and then quarter cask, and then Oloroso sherry. But it was like second fill or something like that. Nothing as intense as this. Look at the color of that, which unfortunately I don't know if it's real or not. You're going to do a review of that versus the 10. I could do a head-to-head of it. That would be fun. I actually do have another bottle of this sherry. I think I've been kind of talking about it randomly on shows too, and I do think that I would say that I think the cartridge is better. I would say going into it, I'm leaning on the cartridge. I don't know if this is a great cartridge release, but it has definitely been good, and it is much better than the port and red wine cask that they did last year, which I thought was somewhat disappointing. So when you go in on this, it's just sweet, like red fruits. Like you walked into the fruit department, or you're at a fruit stand outside on the street on a hot summer day. Behind it, though, is that smoldering Laphroaig campfire iodine kind of thing, earthiness. Vanilla. It's very sweet. Cloyingly sweet, almost. Not quite, but it's there. It's close there. So you're thinking about like maraschino cherry, or whatever that cherry or strawberry Jolly Ranchers candy. That classic, clean, like medicinal peat smoke that you only get from Laphroaig. It's here. You walked into the dentist office or something. It's there, and it's just working its magic in the background. Oh yeah, heavy. So the palate, your palate's just assaulted by wood, charred wood, wet wood, and this is the quarter cask element of this. The quarter cask in this dries out your palate and attacks your palate viciously with spice. Of like, again, just very oak driven. There's hints of cinnamon. There's hints of like chilies, but it is straightforward, like heavy oak. If you've had the Laphroaig quarter cask before, you know what I'm talking about. But then you have this huge, sweet vanilla fruit swirl kind of thing going on top of it, and then that iodine dentist office medicinal peat smoke. It's all there. It's all going. It is a whiskey, I think. I'm going to try and explain this as best I can. It's a whiskey that's like this. Its individual elements are more, or even like more intriguing than the sum of its parts. The way that these three distinct things work together, you notice them individually as being just like fantastic. They don't quite come together into like the most beautiful marriage they could, I think. That may be an age-related thing, or how long they were married together. But it doesn't take away too much from it. A little bit more harmony. I mean, I would love to see this with, put a cask strength Laphroaig PX cask, this triple maturation with like a 20-year or 15-year age statement, 18-year age statement. It'd be incredible. As it is, it still works really well. But it is not, if you were going to criticize it, I would say it's not incredibly well married. It's a step up for sure. For any of you who were disappointed in the Cairdeas in 2020, which is the port and red wine. Nice mint on this medium long finish. If you were disappointed in the triple wood cask strength, which I'm not going to say I was disappointed, but it didn't blow my mind. I know that's heresy to a lot of folks. I think the last one that they did that I thought was quite impressive was the Fino of the Cairdeas line, and that was 2018. This ain't quite the Fino, but it's up there. It's the curve has been bent. Really delicious. I mean, it's just hard to hate. It really is. I admit I'm a Laphroaig fan, but man, it's hard to hate this. I do wish it was a little bit more married together. It does feel a bit like they kind of, and this is unfortunately a common thing with a lot of distilleries. It's like they're trying to get the most they can out of everything, of course, but you would just like to see, you'd like to see this age together for maybe a couple of years more. Put a 12-year age statement. Fuck, a 10. It could be really something. But even as it is, it's damn good. I'm a 3.75 on this. Here. It's delicious. Yeah, I think so. I agree. I mean, if we're not talking pro sports, yeah. I mean, you also have to throw in Duke Blue Devils basketball. For collegiate sports. If we're gonna, or Michigan too, Michigan Wolverines football. But yeah, Ohio State, man, Jesus, the Ohio State. I mean, that says enough. The fact that they say that they're the Ohio State. Now, if we're talking professional sports, I mean, there might be some worse. Any team out of Philadelphia, Dallas Cowboys. Chicago Cubs. No, Chicago Cubs wouldn't be on there. Yankees would, though. Yes. Never a team have I seen with so much braggadocio and so little to show for it in the last 2 decades. Notre Dame. Good call. Yeah. Good call. I mean, yeah. Yeah, Notre Dame. I'm feeling you on that. Yeah. I mean, violence, but the violence in, I don't know about, I mean, Oakland is probably there, but yeah, Philly though, man, holy shit. It's not hate. I'm not hating Philly. I lived in Philly for 2 years. It's not that I'm hating it. I'm just noting that their fan base, on average, are the most intense, over the top, ridiculous fans that I've probably ever seen. There's a long track record, and I agree. Dustin is right. Violence is a byproduct of insanity. And bad fans, agreed. Not every Philadelphia sports fan is Philly fan, but the amount of Philadelphia sports fans that are Philly fan, sorry, it's just true. I saw some crazy stuff there just in 2 years. Wow, okay. Shit gets real in Philly. So yeah, it's not hate. I do get it. I do understand the Philadelphia sports fan mentality. I can't endorse it. That's all I'm saying. Rotten people to the core. Yeah, they ain't on the Cowboys. Yeah, I agree with you. I detest the Cowboys personally, but oh man. Yes, Raider fan. Although, what are they now? I don't know. Are they still as fun? He knows. Yeah, no, like I get it. I just don't completely get it. Like I get it. I get what their whole deal is. I get why it is the way it is. I just don't endorse it. That's all I'm saying. Philly's a unique place. I'm here in Chicago now, and nothing here Chicago's 3 times probably bigger than Philly, but nothing is like it is in Philadelphia. Maybe with Cubs and White Sox, not even really. I'm a Bears, Brewers, Packers fan. I'll walk around in my stuff here in Chicago, and I won't catch flack from anybody. I wouldn't walk 5 blocks in Philadelphia some days wearing that stuff. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not saying that to put on airs. Like, dude, I went to a bar in Center City, Philadelphia for a Phillies Packers game or an Eagles Packers game in an Aaron Rodgers jersey. Let me just tell you this: I wouldn't do it again. I would not do it again. It's real. It's real. I have so many funny Philly sports fan stories just from my couple years there. That's great. Yeah. OSU's fans just won't stop screaming about their team and why they are now. Yes, Dustin. Yes. Totally, dude. Totally. Yeah. He'll get lucky if that's all it is. Oh yeah, man. We can't leave out Gator fan, right? What about Gator fan? I love it. It's funny. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't think any of the teams that I root for, obviously, Bucks, Brewers, Packers, I guess Badgers. I don't really care about college sports. More of a Marquette guy than a Badgers person. But there are some fan bases that I can definitely get under the skin of anybody. And I think for me, it's always been, Dallas Cowboys. Anybody in Philly. Philly sports fan in general. Appreciate you. Hats off. Do your thing. Just don't quite get it. Don't know why it goes as far as it does. But you're Philly, so you got to do your thing. Winston. I suppose we also got to throw out there Patriot fan. Although, like, what's going to happen what's the future of Patriot fan in the non-Tom Brady years? Oh yeah, totally. This isn't going to be good. This whole series is not going to be good. Yeah. SEC in Ohio State. I'm gonna admit I'm pretty. I don't follow college sports much, but it's good. It's funny. Yeah, you gotta wonder about this Dodgers Giants series is not gonna be good, man. I mean, you might as well have Cardinals Cubs. I mean, you want to talk about some serious rivalry hate. Cardinals Cubs, man, Jesus. But yeah, or fuck Yankees Red Sox. I mean, come on. That's another thing. Okay, sports fans wise, I'm sorry about this to anybody, but like as an outsider, man, any Boston team, Patriots, Red Sox, it's a lot of East Coast. A lot of this is focused very East Coast, and SEC to some degree. But you do gotta wonder, man. Yeah, this Giants Dodgers series, this is gonna get. There's gonna be some stuff going down. Yeah, I went to some Dodgers spring training a couple of years ago, and like, man, even there, like there was some folks, man. I was like, okay. I mean, if anybody is under the illusion that there are two teams in Los Angeles, no, there's one team in Los Angeles, and it's the Dodgers. And then there's the rich randos in the suburbs who care about the Angels, but the Angels do not represent LA, and if there's two teams LA cares about. They don't give a shit about football. They care about the Dodgers and they care about the Lakers. That's it. Cohen, you can probably tell me if I'm wrong about that, but I think I'm pretty much right about that. There's the Dodgers and the Lakers. So who fucking cares about anything else in LA? Woo-wee. Yeah, man. Yeah. So, I got Dodger fan friend. It's hard for me to cheer for the Dodgers, but it's true. Yeah. Well, admittedly, I still think the hooliganism is different and is different in it's next level in Europe for sure. I'll tell you a really quick funny story. So when I was in Philly, this is like there are so many good ones, but this is the best one. So Phillies, the Eagles were playing. This is 2019 season. The Eagles. This is just a taste of Philadelphia, right? So the Eagles are playing the Redskins at Lincoln Financial at the Link in Philly, right? And there's this NBA player on the Philadelphia team, the 76ers, and his name is escaping me. I'll have to look it up. Okay, but he's from the DC area, right? So he's going around Center City, Philadelphia, on game day with his friends, his entourage, like having them take pictures of him in his Redskins jersey at all these Eagles or all these Philadelphia landmarks. Now, keep on, he plays for the 76ers, right? Mike Scott. Yeah, Mike Scott. He already knows. Mike Scott, right? So Mike Scott's going around Philly, and he's like taking pictures in his Redskins jersey. Like, this guy plays for the 76ers, okay? He plays for Philly's NBA team, right? Ha ha ha, this is fun. He's just trying to support his team, right? Fast forward to about an hour and a half later, the dude shows up at the Phillies, the Eagles Redskins game, and immediately like 5 dudes jump him in the parking lot and are trying to fight him and his entourage. Like, these dudes just start swinging at him, like out of nowhere. Like, this dude, an NBA player on the team from your own city, you're trying to kick his ass because he's not wearing an Eagles jersey because he's not from Philadelphia. So, There you go. Right. That was one of my favorite Philly sports moments when I was there. This is crazy, dude. Like these stocky dudes, drunk dudes just trying to kick this NBA player's ass in the parking lot of an NFL game. And they're trying to beat up a dude that plays for their team because he was rocking the Redskins gear. That's what I mean about Philly. Like Philly is just next, man. It's just next level. It was so ridiculous. They are very passionate folk. Let's just put it that way. All right, y'all. With that, it's been good hanging, and we're about to hit that 2-hour mark. So I am probably going to finish up this dram here and sign off. So I just want to thank everybody for hanging out. It's been fun. I'll be back on Tuesday. I will announce. Again, if you want to join on Patreon, you can get in the raffle at any level. I'll be raffling off a bunch of good samples. That will happen on Tuesday this week. So if you're in, you're in. If you join before then, you're still in. Basically, you'll get your name thrown in a randomizer, and I'll be sending out samples to folks, including everybody will be getting a sample of the Glengoyne 15. I will also have the Laphroaig Cairdeas, brand new one. 21-year-old Balvenie single barrel will be in there. Scotty Pippen bourbon will be in there. I'm going to have a bunch of stuff to send out to folks. So as a token of my appreciation, and so if you join on Patreon, you can be in that, and we will announce that at around 8:45 Eastern time on the Tasty Tuesday happy hour coming up this week. And thanks, Daniel. There's the link. So feel free to support the show if you're interested in doing it that way. If not, that's all good. Hope I can still see you Tuesday. Everybody enjoy your weekend. And great to see everyone again, man. Slanch.